was another busy Sunday in the NFL and one for the record books as the New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick became the third coach in league history to win 300 regular season games.
Second and goal. Jones swings it. Touchdown! Gesicki!
It's great. I'm really more focused on, our team and this year and worry about that later.
Belichick now sits behind Pro Football Hall of Famers Don Shula and George Halas after the Patriots squeaked by the Bills 29-25, snapping a three-game losing streak. Not a fun loss for Buffalo, who have had a much better season and were expected to win. For more on Week 7 in the NFL, I'm joined by Dan Berlin. He's a sportscaster and analyst and also an assistant professor of sports media at Toronto Metropolitan University. Dan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Matt.
That game against the Bills, great for Bill Belichick and the Patriots, but big upset for Buffalo.
Well, I think it was a little from column A and column B. I mean, New England hasn't put much together at all this year, to the point where you might have wondered if Bill Belichick was ever going to get his 300th win. But leave it to happen against the Bills, who he's basically made a career out of beating. This was a bit of an upset, though, even though the Bills were on the road. I mean, they were expected to beat the last place Patriots. And as we've seen now for the last 2 weeks, they seem to really be struggling finding any real coherence or cohesiveness on offense and now on defense here. They have struggled to put up points in a narrow victory over the Giants a week ago. And here really, fell behind the 8 ball early. I mean, the very first pass of the game was Allen getting intercepted by the Patriots secondary. And that just led to a game that they kind of kept New England in the whole time. And then some of those injuries that the Bills are experiencing on the defensive side, certainly the loss of Matt Milano, their star linebacker, you could just see they couldn't get that big stop late in the game, even though they took over the lead. And that's really a game Buffalo should have won.
The Kansas City Chiefs looking very strong, beating the LA Chargers 31-17. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce playing very well. They keep that win streak going.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs have shown us one thing, that they are still the team to beat in the AFC, and they are showing no signs of slowing down. I mean, here you have Patrick Mahomes throwing for over 300 yards in the first half alone and finishing with over 400 yards for the game. I mean, his elite play continues to be elite. And as far as Travis Kelce, his number one receiver and partner in crime, I mean, this will go down arguably, if it isn't already, really in the conversation for the greatest quarterback and tight end receiving duo of all time. They finally just connected this week on already their 50th touchdown connection.
Chiefs head coach Andy Reid bringing up a connection between Kelce's improving play and the attendance of his lady friend, musical icon Taylor Swift. What do you make of this?
Well, I don't think there's anything that she can do that isn't going well these days. I mean, normally you would think that might be a bit of a distraction from his play, but clearly she's on a roll and the Chiefs are on a roll, and you put it all together and you've got a winning combination here. There was a really funny tweet that went out that, at this point, Taylor Swift has now attended a game against the Jets and the Broncos, and I think even the Bears as well. And even yesterday had to endure Pat Mahomes' brother in the press box or in the luxury suite she was in to say she is all in on the Chiefs this season, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But I love the storyline. I think it's great for football. It's obviously great for Travis Kelce and the Chiefs.
Lastly, I want to ask you about Myles Garrett. He was a one-man wrecking crew in the Browns' 39-38 win over the Colts. What'd you think of his play?
Well, I'm beyond impressed by Myles Garrett. I mean, this is somebody who finds a way to get to the quarterback, pressure the quarterback, no matter how many people they put on him. And even more impressively, yesterday was this leap over the line to block a field goal attempt that really set up the Browns for some points. And of course, he had a strip sack in the end zone of Gardner Minshew that set up a touchdown. So he single-handedly really won that game. The type of play I haven't really seen since somebody like Lawrence Taylor of the Giants, a Hall of Famer from the 80s, who was just an unstoppable force. What'll be interesting for Cleveland, Deshaun Watson sort of re-injures his shoulder here, and the offense put up a lot of points yesterday, but we'll see in the long term how they'll be able to do without their number one quarterback. But as long as you've got Myles Garrett, you got a chance to win every single week.
That's Dan Berlin, sportscaster and football guy extraordinaire. Dan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.